Alright, friends and neighbors, gearheads of all ages, this is your fun-loving field agent 880 coming to you for Bob at Bob's Classic Cars and Parts, and you will not believe what we have found today. Some of you may recognize these cars if you keep up with the custom scene much, but this is a 1951 Mercury. Anybody knows much about these cars, they were really popular with the custom car crowd. You know, you think about the iconic cars in the hobby. Right. And you think about the Rebel Without a Cause, these cars with the lead slids, and a lot of the old-time custom guys, this car has got cool dripping all over it. Check that out. This is a stock body car, and if you look at the way the trim and the body lines on these cars, you can understand why they were so popular. But you know, when you think about a lot of those cars with the you know, within the hobby, you think about the street rods and the 32 Fords and 34 Fords and stuff, and the you know, the Tri-5 Chevys for classics, and Corvettes with the sports car crowd, and you know, the Mopar guys have their own set too with the Cudas and Chargers and whatnot. But when you start talking about custom cars, and these were top dog. That's why they were so popular. They about looked custom from the factory for the day. I mean, you think of early 50s, late 40s, you know, a lot of cars were pretty stodgy looking, and, you know, you had to do some work to get them to, you know, project that cool cruise in scene or vibe. And these cars had it from the factory, you know, kind of a low roof line. Look how exaggerated the just the body lines of the car are, and all the chrome, that toothy grille. And a lot of people will swap that grille out for, you know, maybe I think DeSoto was pretty popular, and maybe some of the Buick and Corvette grills. But you know, that factory grill is just bad. Look at that, and that's stainless steel. So when you start looking at some of the trim and some of the chrome on these, I mean, you couldn't. Yeah, custom work didn't do it justice compared to the factory grill and trim on these, and just a lot of cool features like the look at the hood ornament on that, and just the little stuff that they designed into these cars back in the day, that they just, you know, the character and the stuff that comes with these. I'm gonna try to get a shot of that and see the Mercury letters are actually stamped into that chrome right there. Try to get up close so you can see that. How cool is that? Yeah, now this car is, like I said, it's a mild custom. So, you know, stock body, a lot of the stock chrome and trim is still on it, but a lot of popular custom touches like the, you know, the twin spotlights and little peak mirrors. Even got the little rain gutters over the vents. But this, you know, this car is a sedan, and you know, even on a sedan, check that out. It's got the you know, the suicide doors, which, you know, was a cool touch. Yeah, this car, it's not a show car, but it is a really nice representation of a cool cruiser. You see the interior. It's even got the fender skirts. Now there are several different wheel coverings he's got with this car, and the car has been lowered a little bit, so that kind of gives it the right stance and the right rake. So but he's got the factory caps, and got those flippers, which was pretty popular, and another set that appear kind of like a Lancer cap was popular on these back in the day, but just everywhere you look in the tail light, the little crest that's made into the tail light on it with all the chrome and trim around it. They even dressed up the door for the fuel cap. And the fuel cap was hidden behind the door. It wasn't just sticking out like some of the older stuff. So, these were pretty snazzy cars. And a lot of this trim is stainless steel. So, it's not, see how it follows that. It's not all pitted and dinged up, which is, hard to find when you go looking for trim on these cars. And this is and this thing is sharp. See the chrome along the belt line there. It follows the lines of the car, the body lines, which you kind of see here how that how the hood rolls over and follows all the way back into the door and sweeps down right there. Now the car's been repainted years ago, so this is an older restoration, kind of a mild custom, but just look down the side of that car at the line. So I'm going to go over here to the other side so you can see that hadn't been run in a while. See, it's a few cobwebs here and there, and you see the dust that settles on them, and it happens. We've all got those cars, but at least it's it's in out of the weather, and it's got some, like I said, some really cool hot rod touches on it too. Check out those pipes coming out the back, the twice pipes, and the bumper guards, and that, even the trim. See the Mercury head and stars on the the trim on the trunk, which is just cool. And that's not, this is back before plastic stick-on trim and all that. So we're going to get back around to the other side here. But I'm going to open up the front so you kind of get an idea of the interior. It's just amazing how tight this car is. The door panels and the interior and stuff's in really good shape. It's been done. That's kind of a cool color as well. But this one still got the 3-speed on the column. And check out the dash. Some of the some of the trim and stuff on there. I mean, you don't get much cooler than that. I was trying to see if I can get a little more light in there. Bear with me just a minute. But like I said, and that lever right there, if I'm not mistaken, that means it's an overdrive car. So this is a 3-speed manual with overdrive. How cool is that? See, look at the steering wheel, even the the trim and the design that goes into these just still amazes me. But look how low slung the windows and stuff are, and it almost looks like a chop top straight from the factory. How tight the rain gutters are on these cars. So not perfect, but look how that opens and closes. Golly, you don't get new cars that are that tight anymore. That's a good indicator too that this car hadn't been hurt. It hadn't been abused. The the doors and stuff open and close that tight. The cars have been hit and twisted and run through ditches and stuff over the years. They don't do that. So we'll get around to the other side of it and check that out too. But check out the front end on that car. I'm gonna do a little more video of this here in a little bit, but I'm gonna pause it. We may even get a chance to fire it up here in a little bit. And there's some goodies lurking under the hood too that are a little far from stock, and some really cool stuff that lets you know that the kind of the evolution of street rodding and hot rodding and custom cars. How some of that has come a long way. I mean, you look at some of the cars that are fixed up for long distance cruising, and what they call resto mods and stuff like that. Well, that all came from somewhere, and this car has a lot of history that you may people may not have heard of, but it kind of sparked the some of the upgrades that you see commonplace now, where it come from. So bear with me just a minute. I'm going to get around to the other side here, and we may try to get the hood up and, you know, show off some of those goodies too. All right, I'm going to get over here on this side, get a little closer so you can see. Look at the dash on this car. With knobs and levers, it looks almost like an airplane dash, but see the waterfall trim that rolls back underneath. How cool is that? It's still got the factory radio in it as well. Got some aftermarket gauges to keep up with the what's going on under the hood. And like I said, got 3 pedals and a column shifter. Now that wasn't all that uncommon back in the day. But nowadays, I think that would probably throw people for a loop. But get pull back right here. And we'll go. Gosh, it still kills me how good this car opens and closes. The doors, how tight they are on this car. That's, man. Okay. Well, let me back out here, and we'll get around to the front and see if we can't get it to fire up. So y'all bear with me. We're going to keep the adventure going here. Check out those pipes. This thing's going to sound great. Nothing, you know, old Flatheads have their own sound, and you know, that's why after all these years they still have such a big following, especially in the hot rod, street rod crowd. So bear with us just a moment. All right, before we get up there to the hood, the reason why these cars were so popular, if you look, it's still got some of the parts and stuff that are with this car. That's fair, but look how big that trunk is. You figure you could, you know, you could sneak a lot of people into the drive-in movies with this car. They, you know, a lot of them were popular with the, you know, with people hauling liquor back in the day too, because the Mercuries had a little more power, and you know, the suspension and steering was a little better on them than it was some of the other, you know, cheaper cars. There's some of the additional parts, and I think that's the factory center cap. You run that and a trim ring on these cars, or on this particular car, that are with the car as well. But man, check out how big that trunk is. Golly, that's bigger than most SUVs nowadays. So. All right, we've checked out the trunk, we've looked at the inside, and I've got the hood open on it now. And here's where everybody's going to get excited and start smiling. Check this out. Now, you know, we were talking about some of the upgrades on this car, and this right here has a lot of cool stuff going on. Now the car, this Flathead's been, you know, it's been tweaked some, it's been bored, and if you look, it's got a set of headers on it. It's got an aluminum intake and a Holley 4-barrel carburetor, you know, more of a modern carburetor. Still running the 6-volt generator. But, you know, some custom touches under the hood. See the air cleaner, and it's got the old Excel wires and stuff, which is pretty cool. You know, we talked about a lot of these cars, you know, some custom touches and a lot of performance upgrades. Now, this is a 3-speed manual, and with overdrive. You know, a lot of people think they associate overdrive with, you know, newer, more modern cars. But, yeah, that was actually... you know, pretty popular back in the day. To, you know, not only did it help with fuel mileage, but also help with performance. You know, you get out and cruise the interstate with these cars, and still keep up with. You know, you could get this car out today and cruise the interstate and keep up with modern cars. But you know, they had 6-volt systems, which were had tendency to be a little weak when starting or something. But this car, you know, a lot of people change them over to 12 volt. And this is one of the things I really wanted to show you. I had never heard of one of these, as much as I fool with this stuff. This car has a converter that actually starts on 12 volts and then reduces it back to 6 volts. So this is still a 6-volt car. So it has, you know, a lot of the factory style wiring and charging system. As you see, it doesn't have a modern alternator. It's still got the factory generator. And, yeah, but it, the 6 volts turned over kind of slow, and, we're prone to, not having enough juice to turn over one, especially if the compression's been bumped up a little bit like this one has. But that right there changes it. Starts on 12 volts, and then it breaks it back down to 6 volt once it's running. How cool is that? That's, like I said, a lot of stuff that, inverters and, the stuff for the, the electronic ignition and computers and whatnot. This car's got one that's doing it and been doing it for, 20 plus years. So kind of a cool touch, and something that, it's not it doesn't have to be a resto mod to still be functional. And, some of the stuff like that, people were, they were doing stuff and creating stuff to work on these cars back in the day. And that's how a lot of that come, we have a lot of the stuff that we do now. So we're going to see if it works. We're going to see if we can get it to fire up. I thought that, those emblems are just cool to me. So we're going to try and get it to make a little smoke. Y'all bear with me. Now, if you hear how easy that turned over, it's because it was getting 12 volts. It didn't drag. Let's see if I can get this up and going here. All right. Listen to that. Golly, look how smooth that engine runs. Like I said, your new fuel injected cars beat your heart out. This thing runs like a sewing machine. I'll go back here and get a little bit of the exhaust note. Listen to that. And that's the Flathead V8 right there. That's the sound that made a lot, every young kid in the 50s, smile when they could hear one breathing through pipes like that. Man. It's still cold. We just fired it up. But, and listen to that thing sit there and rumble. Wow, you're going to hear that one coming for sure. A flathead with headers, shaved heads, a little compression in a cam, and some twice pipes. Golly, that thing sounds off. You hear it coming down a country road for a mile away. How cool is that? If you haven't hit the thumbs up button by now, you've probably hit it half a dozen times. But if you haven't, this is your chance. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, because you don't get much cooler than this. And we'll keep bringing you stuff like this. This car right here is just an absolutely fantastic, cool car. It's not perfect, but you could cruise. You could cruise all day in this car and show up at any cruise in or car show and represent well. You'd be the coolest cat there. Like I said, these cars were, popular with the custom crowd, and they, in movies and stuff all along. James Dean, Sylvester Stallone, and Cobra, and the suicide doors and the twin spotlights with wide whites and the hopped up V8, with 3-speed and overdrive and the twice pipes on it. This car is nothing but cool. If you, like I said, see this video, share it with your friends. Tell all your buddies, your friends and neighbors that you saw it right here at Bob's Classic Cars and Parts, and you'd be the one that gets to tell them all about it if you hit that bell notification. And Like I said, hit the thumbs up. Let them know that you found it right there. Bob's Classic Cars and Parts, and this is Field Agent 880.